still recording?
It's recording now.
Oh, okay. We're recording now. Why are we recording?
Because it's 1 day sober.
What does that mean to you?
To me, it means I get to keep you for a little bit longer.
Well, that's jacked up, bro. You can't go deep like that, man. First episode? Come on now. You can't do that. No, that's for you.
What does it mean for you?
I've got half the day beat.
You've got half the day beat.
So, I guess to me, it would mean... Just it's half the day? Straight to keep pushing forward until tomorrow. I guess, I don't really haven't thought about it too much for 1 day sober. I just like saying it. 1 day sober.
I mean, ideally, is it 1 day becomes 1 more day, right?
See, this is why humans cannot be camera holders while they're driving. It's constantly shaking. It's pissing me off.
Set up, yeah, there you go.
It's like looking at myself in the mirror. Glad I shaved.
Yeah.
I did not look like this yesterday. Or the day before, I think. So, yeah.
What's the biggest struggle? Okay, for those of you who don't know, of course, this is episode maybe 1.5?
1.2.
1.2.
Why? Because we recorded it, but we didn't get to upload it, and we probably already deleted it. So it doesn't get to 5. Maybe if you still had it, we got to 5.
My name's Mike.
I'm Hector.
I'm sober.
I'm sober. I almost said I'm not sober, but I am. Now, if you caught me last month around this time, no. So, yeah, we're brothers, of course. Can't tell. He's the older one. So get up close on the gray hair. That's wisdom, guys. That's wisdom.
And kids.
See? No wisdom. Wisdom. Druggy. Never done drugs. Oh, no, have you done drugs?
No, never.
Not even weed?
I've never done a drug at all.
Can you believe that? He's not Mexican, guys. He's not.
I haven't had a sip of alcohol in almost 15 years.
15 years.
15 years.
I drank a beer yesterday.
Did you drink a beer yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. That's better.
I drank 1 beer yesterday, alright? Why? Because I'm on antibiotics. If I wasn't on antibiotics, I'd have drank 10. Just because, 10 is, it's a good number. Got 10 fingers, 10 toes. Why not 10 beers? That is cold. My hand is now holding this phone. It might fall. So, 15 years for alcohol and never done drugs. Started smoking weed at 7. Alcoholic around 12. When did mom and dad inherit all that beer?
I don't know.
Oh man, I was at least in 5th grade. That's bad. 8 years older than me. 2 different lifestyles, but grew up with the same family. Same house.
For the most part.
Not an addict. Very big addict. I only say big because I'm kind of like big.
Ooh, Slugbook White.
Oh! I didn't even see it. It doesn't count.
You definitely got hit.
I felt it. That's how you know I'm sober. Yeah, one day sober to me is just, I guess my brother brought it up. We were talking about it, and then, like, how did one day sober come up? The quote?
It was a light switch, and you just have to decide not to go in that direction.
Yeah. What he said?
It all tumbles down if you follow the wrong impulse. It all goes in the wrong direction.
Okay, so since it's the first episode, it's not 1 day sober, it's 1 minute sober. Now we'll say 5 minutes sober because I'm a month in, still, and then still, fighting every day, every morning. So, yeah. That's what we're going off of. 1 day sober, take it day by day, step by step. And for the ones that are just getting fresh out, it's minute by minute, and that's just it. And it's constant. It doesn't stop. I could be an addict for 20 to 30 years, and then stumble, and so it's just something I got to worry about every day. And I've never been in this situation before.
What situation is that?
Choosing to be sober. Choosing a new life. I call it renewing of my mind. For one, because it didn't just start out with drugs. It started out with my thoughts and my emotions and how I processed my life and my lifestyle growing up, I would have to say. And through all that, I didn't know how to fix it or how to manage my emotions or manage bad stuff that happened to me or just communicate that stuff. And so I held it in and just fed it with drugs and alcohol and just bad people, bad environments. Why? Because that's just how I was raised, and that's all I knew. I didn't know the different lifestyle until I was about 13, 14 years old. And I found out that there's a better way. And so I found out about it. I just didn't learn how to walk it out. So that also crippled me as well. And the better way, the better walk for me is having faith in the Lord. And so when I found Him when I was 13, I was already into drugs, smoking weed, being an alcoholic, eating shrooms, just, being in the mess. And so when I found God, and I heard about God and was learning about Him, I didn't know how to, I guess, walk that lifestyle out. And so it messed me up, because you find out, well, growing up in this household that I grew up in, and then finding out about somebody that loves me much more and that would only do good for me, so it kind of, it was a conflict for me, because I didn't know how to obtain it, I guess, I don't know how to explain it when I was 13. Like, it just crippled me, because why would somebody love me so much, and they created me and they created everybody? Why would He let me grow up like in this, And so I would blame Him and blame Him and blame Him, not knowing that it wasn't of Him, Now I know it wasn't Him. Back then, though, it took me to where I wanted to kill myself, and that's when depression set in, and I didn't know it, And so that's just a little piece, and we're just trying to, I guess, brothers mentioned the podcast just because he listens to a lot of podcasts.
Yep.
Constantly. It's annoying. Now we're in the podcast. And that's it.
Maybe this helps somebody out.
Maybe you know.
I kind of felt like this podcast would be beneficial to not only people who were struggling with addictions, but people who were trying to walk alongside somebody who was struggling with addiction. And
had no clue what the addiction was, I guess.
yeah, I didn't even know about the addiction. I didn't know any of this at all. And so it was
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I found out a year ago, basically a year and like 2 weeks ago, and it was just I was trying to help my brother out. He showed up at my place of work and had what I thought was an anxiety attack, and I took him to the ER, and the doctor asked questions I didn't know to ask, and I found a lot of information out.
Oh, hit me up. You gotta say all that over again.
I gotta start all over again? Anyway, this has been kind of foundation building for our relationship. It's not been easy. But I mean, I look forward to it.
Oh, yeah. So, go ahead and interrupt you and then elaborate on that a little bit more. Because I guess that would be my fault why he didn't know anything. Since I was 13, you know, like I said, when I found God, I was on fire for God, and I was learning how to walk it out and stuff. And through that, I was praying for my family to come to God, and you know, God ended up, you know, calling on my brother. And when he did that, my brother like kind of went. Okay, so I was living in brokenness for a while while my brother was in Colorado, and I got saved at 13. He came back when I was probably about 14, so I was about a year into knowing who, trying to figure out who God is, and trying to change my life and my way of thinking and my process, and try to get through these, like stop this the marijuana smoking and stop acting bad, you know, just trying to live the walk, you know, trying to walk it out. Figure it out, you know, obtain, you know, the knowledge of the Holy One. So when he came to God, or he accepted and became a Christian, he went on a mission trip for about 6 months, came back full of knowledge and wisdom. And so right then and there, like, my mindset switched to, like, hey, I can't let my brother down, you know? Like, I can't let him know these struggles that I'm going through, because he's going to look down upon me type thing. That was my thought process. So when I was 13, myself just built this wall up, and I did not let him in my life until last year. And so when I was telling him who I was last year, it was so many different emotions, so many different memories and stuff just shooting through my head. I was freaking out because I was telling him everything I did not want him to even know about me ever. Why? Because I look up to this guy, and I don't want him to look down on me ever. And so I hid all that from him. Just him. Like, my sisters knew a lot. My sisters know just about everything. No problems talking to my sisters, you know. But when it came to my bro, like, we didn't have a relationship, and so that's where I started, and I broke down because I was in my brokenness, and I already wrecked like 3 cars, up for 17 days at one point, in brokenness, about to lose my job, throw my job away, pretty much lose everything that I had been working for through my addiction, though. And so it was this foundation built upon brokenness, and I had to let it out, and the only way I knew how to do that was to tell my brother, because that's the only person I was really hiding it from, and that was where that shame and that guilt came from. So I kept on hiding and hiding and hiding. If you keep on hiding, then you can't win. You stay in your addiction. You hide your addiction, and then next thing you know, you're dead. And I didn't want to die. I fell asleep a couple times at the road, driving. You know, I let my brother down throughout the month before the Mercy House. That's a different story. Just remember Mercy House. Like a month before the Mercy House, I just kept on letting him down, and kept on letting him down, and kept on letting him down. Like, we would schedule to go do this, schedule to go do that, and I was always calling in late, and he asked me this. It's like, every time you give me the excuse that you're sleeping, or you overslept, you know what I mean? You remember that? He said that. He was like, all your excuses are just oversleeping. What's going on? And I was like, I broke down. Like, I couldn't lie to him anymore. And so when I was telling him all this stuff, he freaked out. and put me in the psych ward real quick. Oh, man, tell me why I was not sober. DePaul. Oh, so, but not on any of that medication. I don't want to rely on that medication. I don't want to rely on anything. But right now, I'm not going to lie. I do self-medicate by smoking or eating edibles. Y'all don't know what that means. I'm just not going to say it because I'm in Texas. Just saying. You know, Colorado, different story. But I don't just saying. Anyways, but so yeah, but I'm not gonna rely on that. I'm gonna end up quitting that as well. Why? That's between me and God. And I feel like that it's not necessary to lean on that, you know. So that's a little bit, you know, just probably a lot of random thoughts. What do you think?
One day sober.
That was weak. You didn't even mean that. Are you mad because I drink that beer?
No, I'm not mad because you drink that beer.
He looks like he's mad he drink that beer.
I mean, I'm not worried about the beer in the end, unless he's just start drinking heavily.
Well, I got a 30-pack. I'm just playing. No 30-pack. But, yeah, so we're just, I don't know how podcast works. I don't know if y'all give feedback or not, or ask questions if you want.
Oh, it'll show up in the comments.
So is this live right now?
No, it's not live.
Oh,
I've got to upload it.
You gotta upload it? Okay.
But the comments will come. Some good, but the general rule is don't ever read the comments.
Okay, so for real, I know I'm fat. I know that's the least of my worries right now. Oh, and if I don't have a hater, I'm gonna be upset. I need somebody to talk crap to, alright? Alright?
Right.
Missing all these drugs, you know what I'm saying? One day sober.